we are again. Another super question that's been thrown up by our amazing members. One that's troubled us, I think, actually, for some time. We've batted it back and forth. Is it right? Is it wrong? Are they both wrong? Are they both right? So the question is, that I'm going to chuck at you now, is where is recruitment now? Is it right to be 360? Should we be looking at 180 or something else?
I think it's something else. So that Dean's right here. We talk about this a lot. We're always looking for innovation in our marketplace. What's going to give our members the unfair competitive advantage? And rather than actually just follow the same old path, we're trying to cut them off at the path in sort of proper, the old sort of cowboy style.
We'll head them off at the pass! Head them off at the pass? I hate that cliche.
Not that we're cowboys. So if we can think of how do we get to the end game quicker, faster than anybody else to get first mover advantage. It's hard being a 360 recruiter in this marketplace. It is hard. However you shift it, if you're a perm recruiter, shifting from becoming candidate centric to becoming customer centric, it's a massive shift. So rather than actually use CVs to open up and leverage relationships, you're now having to talk to businesses and get from what is we talk about how do you get into the C-suite? How do you actually influence and change how businesses make decisions? So rather than be at the end of a food chain. So if you think about how recruitment works today, it's you've got business owners with shareholders, the founders, then they basically give a C-suite the responsibility to actually make their dreams come true. Then there's fiduciary duty up the line. Then the C-suite has then got an operations, your heads of. And then the heads of got the hiring managers, and the hiring managers got HR. Then HR have got talent acquisition. And we are right over there. We're miles away. We're at the bottom of a food chain. That's where 360 typically fits. So how do we get into this C-suite here to make decisions? So that's talking about solution selling, creative, innovative ideas, becoming more than a talent partner, statement of works. Everything's based on outcome delivery. So to do that, typically your normal recruiter is going to struggle to do that. Harness with what's going on in the tech world, bots, chatbots. It's amazing. So if you can acquire data and you can engage with that data, there's more opportunity for you to look at the top of your pipe and generate revenue. So Dean, you work out the maths on this, right? So let's say it's not 360, although that will work for some businesses, but a proper business at the end of 2021 will be doing some form or shape of what we think will be of this, what we think the market's going to be doing. So that's data acquisition. Now that data acquisition, you won't be doing it manually. You could outsource it. You could be using bots. You could be using chatbots. You could be using a whole host of things in terms of your marketing and your market presence to attract more data into your CRM. Once you've got that data in your CRM, then you use automation. So there's a whole host of automated tools that can start that engagement piece from HubSpot, Force24. You've got bots.
We are the robots.
That can actually just start the conversation and then distancing yourself from traditional recruitment agencies and being more of akin to a consultancy style business. Once you've got that, you would have these business development champions. Now, back in the day when we were working together, Dinos, we had the likes of Richard Banks, who was Pitney Bowes salespeople. So we had Ros Banks, who was a salesperson for EE. We had Yellow Pages salespeople. So these were professional, high grade, a few grey hairs, mature, who understand the longer process to sell higher ticket opportunities. So these business champions will be the ones who use all of that data, all of their market intel, maybe even an advocate channel to actually just open up opportunities. Once you recognize an opportunity, you'll be putting in subject matter experts to scope the opportunity and to see where they fit in. At that point, you might have some form of talent request, so the need for staff. So all of that That's not a recruiter's job. Now we're going to outsource all this stuff as well. So the heavy lifting in terms of finding people and resources. So it could be using, the best in class in terms of your headhunters, the resourcing partners in India or wherever in the world that you want them. Again, you're using chatbots. Again, you're using bots to actually just draw all of this data. So suddenly you've got a whole pool of pre-shortlisted candidates. Then you need some manual intervention. So your submissions team, did I just do that? I apologize. So your submissions team are the people who most look like recruiters. They're the ones who are going to go through this long list to create a short list. They're going to present the CVs in the most appropriate way if they have to submit CVs. Alternatively, they're just going to basically just hire talent because they just don't need to put CVs in front of customers anymore, we hope. They're going to actually work out manage the process, manage their talents, do all the contractual stuff and put this to bed. Thereafter, you're going to use potentially a customer service or customer satisfaction team to maintain that relationship, just try and sell up and then put opportunities back into the BD team. Now, I think that is a version, and they want to be doing some form of that going forward. But what's the percentage? It's about 10% recruitment in that process, isn't it? There's loads of stages. Are you going to pay people like 180 recruiters? I don't know. That's where I think the world's going. What do you think, mate?
I mean, that was a great in-depth explanation as well. So, to map out that flow chart from your head is brilliant. Yeah, I agree. In terms of, I don't like the fact that 360 recruiters aren't around anymore in the numbers they were. I was a 360 recruiter. Even when I had resources, I would never use them. But my hit ratios were very high because I found the good people and I went through the whole process and I found the clients and I made that marriage happen and saw myself very much when I was a consultant as that broker. But as a business owner, productization, I went straight into, I did environment mapping, I did skills gap analysis. I sat with boards of businesses and found a consensus on their goal of what good looks like. And then we dripped that down through their business. We did some of the training. We found unutilized skills. We got rid of the dead wood. We replaced it. And we were creating this environment where we had such intrinsic value that we understood their business better than they did because they're only being told what that person tells that person, what that person tells that person tells the board. And that's what we managed to do. Now, is that recruitment? We use occupational psychologists to go in and do some of the work with us. And I think, yes, you end up with, it's a bit like American football where you've got a team of about 4,000 different people for, 10,000 different moves. You kind of end up with that toolkit, which is broader than that unscalable individual because you know as well as I do, there's only a maximum amount of runners or business that each individual can do. And then you end up just actually adding to that person. So it doesn't become naturally by just natural progression and evolution. 360 becomes 180, becomes 90, 45, and then you end up just being that front for it.
And your operating costs keep going up and up and up. In a model such as this, you can get 4 or 5 times the revenue from potentially half the staff. Because you're outsourcing everything. Your cost of sale goes down and down and down, and your productivity goes through the roof. And I love the things you're talking about there, right? When you say, is that recruitment? But it's not, but it's a legitimate business reason to be in that CEO room, that C-suite, because you're adding value. And then that way, you should be getting paid for your time. So why I think recruiters are some of the smartest people in the world, in the world. Why shouldn't they be invited into a board once a quarter to give organizations an insight as to what their competitors are doing, what's new, what's fresh, how they can gain critical advantage? Why should they be hiring people? If they're going through a massive change program, why hire a load of perm people when you can do it with freelancers? And the minute that project's done, then you actually hire different people because the people to build it aren't the people to drive it. It makes perfect sense. And if you think about the way that the environments, the hiring environment's going, if that's perm and that's freelance, it's doing that. And that's, at some point, it's going to be, I don't think my daughter, who's just gone to university, I don't think she'll ever have a full-time job in the way that we did as kids. It's going to be different. It's going to be massively different.
Yeah. It's a difficult one. I think when you even going back to when you used to say to your consultants, taking a requirement is one of the most important things you can do. Well, the clients told me they need this, 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 and this. And I said, well, if the client actually really knew what was going on in the marketplace and actually what their competition was doing and what else was happening and what the actual pay scales look like and what the emoluments look like on any other, you wouldn't have a job because they would do it themselves. And things in business can become very insular because R2R wouldn't exist if we knew how to hire our own consultants, right? You know, it's part of the jigsaw to be able to go out to human capital experts. And my thing is, you know, if you're a recruiter, yes, you're recruiting, but is that, you know, you like recruitment's dead as a saying. Is the word recruiter dead? Because just recruiting someone actually really played down what we did. Right, really played down what we all do as an industry and actually what goes on behind the scenes. All you did was send me one person and they got the job. There's the work. Oh my God. Do you want me to list down that's the perfect scenario? Why do you want any more effort in finding the perfect person? That's a good recruiter making it look easy, right? You know, oh, Ronaldo, all you did was dribble around 7 players and score a goal. Why should we pay you millions of pounds, right? You make it look.
Which one? Which one? Is that the fat Ronaldo? Or the one who loves himself? It's interesting. I think you're right. A lot of clients don't know what they want and they're guessing the future. That's my favourite analogy at the moment. It's like looking at a 6-month-old baby and guessing how tall they're going to be. Right? But we're experts. Do that with mine. We're experts in the world. So yeah, we do think that the whole 360 market is on its last legs, and people will be embracing new technology, new methods to bring critical change to organisations. And you people should be paid, but you people should be paid for your effort, not just on success going forward.
Just to add to that, I totally agree. Rec Tech is the precursor to, you know, the death of 360, and it is that catalyst for change. So, but just like, you know, the Jedi Knights.
What?
I don't think you should lose 360 altogether, because there's sometimes when the dark forces of tech all work together and are biased in their own thing, sometimes you have to resort to those core skills you once had, because that will take you through the tough times, because you know you can. If you have to go and live in the wild and be like Bear Grylls and just live like a recruiter out there with his penknife and his phone, you can do it. Right, you can do it, as I say. So don't lose them totally. But
beware of the sand people.
Sand people? How many do you want?
Well done, Dean. On that note, hopefully we'll see you soon.
We will do.